Breaking: four-star CB Brody Jennings flips from Michigan to Miami 2026 recruiting update. Miami Hurricanes football: what's next for the secondary after landing Brody Jennings? Michigan football's CB Plan B, top targets after Brody Jennings flipped to Miami. Brody Jennings switches commitment from Michigan to Miami. Breaking: four-star CB Brody Jennings flips from Michigan to Miami 2026 recruiting update. In a stunning recruiting reversal that highlights the unpredictable nature of college football commitments, on 300 cornerback Brody Jennings has flipped his pledge from Michigan to Miami. The Jacksonville, Florida, Mandarin standout announced this game-changing decision via social media this past Saturday, abandoning his year-long commitment to the Wolverines. Jennings initially committed to Michigan last summer and visited campus multiple times, including an official visit during Michigan's Victors Weekend just last month. But here's where it gets controversial. Despite this apparent loyalty, Jennings strategically kept his recruitment open throughout the process. This allowed Miami to aggressively court him with a powerful pitch, staying closer to home in Florida. The Hurricanes' relentless proximity-based campaign ultimately convinced Jennings to switch sides, proving geography can trump established relationships in modern recruiting. Now, this is the part most people miss. Michigan appears to have anticipated this possibility. Weeks before Jennings' flip, the Wolverines secured four-star cornerback Andre Clark from Virginia, and are currently favored to land four-star Georgia corner Dorian Barney, who announces his decision later today. Even more significantly, Michigan remains locked in a high-stakes battle with Oregon for the nation's top-ranked cornerback, Davon Benjamin of California. But here's the burning question that'll spark debate. Is losing a committed player to a conference rival a sign of vulnerability in Michigan's recruiting, or simply smart roster management as they pursue higher-ranked targets? Some will argue it exposes coaching staff limitations, while others insist it demonstrates strategic prioritization. Where do you stand? Sound off in the comments. Standing at 6'1" and 185 pounds, Jennings holds notable rankings as the number 29 cornerback and number 294 overall national prospect in the 2026 class per the On3 industry ranking. His departure leaves Michigan with 20 commitments in their 2026 recruiting class, still a formidable group featuring five-star edge rusher Carter Meadows, Washington, D.C., top 100 offensive tackle Malachi Lee, Hawaii, top 100 defensive lineman Titan Davis, Missouri, top 100 tight end Matt Ludwig, Montana, top 100 quarterback Brady Smigiel, California, on 300 offensive lineman Marky Walbridge, Massachusetts, on 300 wide receiver Travis Johnson, Virginia, on 300 edge Julian Walker, South Carolina, on 300 edge Mikhail Blade, Illinois, four-star defensive back Andre Clark, Virginia, four-star receiver Zion Robinson, Texas, three-star offensive lineman Bear McWhorter, Georgia, three-star edge Tarek Boney, Washington, D.C., three-star tight end Mason Bonner, Colorado, three-star defensive lineman Alistair Vallejo, Texas, three-star receiver Jalen Pyle, Texas, three-star linebacker Markel Dabney, Virginia, three-star kicker Micah Drescher, Illinois, running back Jonathan Brown, Ohio, and long snapper Colton Dermer, Arizona. Despite Jennings' flip, Michigan's 2026 class entered Saturday ranked number 9 nationally and number 4 in the Big Ten according to On3's team recruiting rankings, trailing only conference leader USC. Additionally, the Wolverines hold the number 12 ranked transfer portal class this cycle per On3's Transfer Portal Index, showing their multifaceted approach to roster building. Stay ahead of the curve. Get the On3 Top 10 newsletter delivered to your inbox every morning. By clicking subscribe to newsletter, you agree to On3's privacy notice, https://www.on3.com/page/privacy-policy, terms, https://www.on3.com/page/terms-of-service, and use of your personal information described therein. Miami Hurricanes football: what's next for the secondary after landing Brody Jennings? Miami's secondary: what's next after securing CB Brody Jennings? The Miami Hurricanes are on the hunt for top-tier safety prospects following a significant commitment from cornerback Brody Jennings this past weekend. While the announcement may have caught some off guard, it was hardly unexpected that Miami successfully recruited Brody Jennings, a cornerback from Jacksonville's Mandarin High School, who had previously been committed to Michigan. This development is particularly noteworthy given Jennings' family ties to the university. He has a sister who is currently part of Miami's track team, and an older brother who played college football in Coral Gables. The excitement surrounding Jennings' potential commitment had been building throughout the early summer, leading to his inclusion in both our mock class 2.0 and 3.0. With Jennings now joining fellow cornerbacks Jalen Waters, Jontavius Wyman, and Camden Portis, Miami's cornerback lineup is nearly finalized. However, the pressing question remains, what are the next steps for Miami's secondary? But here's where it gets interesting. Miami must now focus on securing a couple of elite safety targets to round out their defensive backfield. This is a crucial phase for the Hurricanes as they aim to bolster their defense and maintain their competitive edge. To dive deeper into this topic and explore more insights, consider subscribing to our coverage. For just $1, you can access this article and a wealth of information from the 247 Sports Network. What do you think? Are the Hurricanes making the right moves in their recruitment strategy? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Michigan football's CB Plan B, top targets after Brody Jennings flipped to Miami. Imagine the shockwaves that rippled through the Michigan football community when Brody Jennings, a highly coveted 2026 four-star cornerback, announced his decision to switch his commitment from the Wolverines to the Miami Hurricanes. This unexpected move has left many wondering, what does this mean for Michigan's defensive backfield? And who will step up to fill the void left by Jennings? Let's dive into the details and explore the potential replacements. Jennings had been a committed member of the Michigan class for over a year, but he always kept his options open, especially with schools closer to home like Miami. Given the recent passing of his father, the decision to stay near his family during this difficult time is completely understandable. It's a heart-wrenching situation, and it's clear that family comes first. For the Wolverines, the loss of Jennings is a significant blow, but it's not the end of the world. They still have two other four-star cornerbacks, Dorian Barney and Andre Clark, committed to the class. However, losing Jennings was not part of the plan for Lamar Morgan and his recruiting team. But here's where it gets controversial. Should Michigan have done more to keep Jennings, or was it always a matter of time before he chose to stay closer to home? The debate is open, and opinions are sure to vary. But the recruiting battle doesn't end here. Michigan has several other targets they are actively pursuing. Let's take a closer look at some of the top prospects. Kari Adams. Despite committing to Notre Dame in June, Michigan is not giving up on Adams, a top 75 overall recruit. The Wolverines have invested a lot of time and effort into recruiting him, and they will continue to do so until he signs his letter of intent. Adams is one of the nation's best corners, and anything can happen in recruiting, as Morgan has proven in the past. Salisi Moa, an elite athlete and a top 50 overall player, Moa is being recruited by Michigan to play in the secondary. Pulling the Utah native away from schools out west like Utah and Washington will be a challenge, but Michigan is giving it their all. Moa took an official visit to Ann Arbor the weekend of June 13th, which is a positive sign for the Wolverines. Shaver Young Jr., despite being committed to Clemson, Morgan and his team have made this four-star a priority. Young is a versatile athlete who can play multiple positions in the secondary. While he hasn't shown any signs of wavering, Morgan was able to flip a former Clemson commit last year, so why not try for another? Blake Stewart, another versatile defensive back. Stewart is being recruited by some of the top teams in the country, with Clemson currently holding all the predictions to land him. He's set to commit on July 13th, so it seems like Morgan would have to work some magic to change his mind. Davon Benjamin, a top 50 overall prospect and a borderline 5-star, Benjamin seemed like a long shot for Michigan for a long time. However, recent reports suggest that Michigan and Oregon are the top contenders. He took an official visit to Michigan the first weekend of June, and was in Eugene a couple of weeks later. While it's still a long shot, it's encouraging to hear that the Wolverines are at least in the conversation. You might be thinking, well, geez, Michigan hardly has a shot at any of these guys. But here's the silver lining. They had an incredible haul in the secondary last cycle with 5 4-stars, Shamari Earls, Jordan Young, Elijah Dotson, Kinoa Winston, and Jaden Sanders. With 2 4-stars currently committed in 2026, things could be much, much worse for Michigan. Of course, they are going to keep trying with most of the guys above until the very end, but the Wolverines are still sitting in a great spot at both cornerback and safety for years to come with or without Jennings. And this is the part most people miss: Michigan's recruiting strategy is about more than just the immediate future, it's about building a strong foundation for the long term. So, what do you think? Do you believe Michigan will be able to fill the void left by Jennings, or will this be a setback for their defensive backfield? Share your thoughts in the comments below, and let's spark a lively discussion. Brody Jennings switches commitment from Michigan to Miami. The college football world just witnessed a seismic shift in recruiting fortunes. Jacksonville, Fla, Mandarin cornerback Brody Jennings has flipped his commitment from Michigan to Miami, leaving Wolverine fans stunned and Hurricane supporters ecstatic. But here's where it gets surprising: this wasn't just about football. Michigan's red-hot recruiting streak took an unexpected hit when Jennings, once hailed as a cornerstone of the Wolverines class, opted for the Hurricanes after a whirlwind spring of unofficial and official visits to powerhouses like Auburn, Florida, Florida State, Miami, and Michigan. Despite openly praising his dad-like bond with Michigan defensive backs coach Lamar Morgan, "He's someone my parents trust to push me and have my back." Jennings' journey took a heartbreaking turn in May with the sudden passing of his father, former Florida State linebacker Bradley Jennings, at just 47. The loss could have derailed his process, but Jennings persevered, leaning on his family and coaches. Yet, many recruiters sense a shift. Coach Morgan's cryptic, "FA part alternation Mark Eiley first" tweet on July 5 now feels prophetic. Was this always about more than X's and O's? The fallout. Michigan drops from 7th to 9th in 247 sports rankings, but all eyes are now on 2 game changers: 4-star CB Dorian Barney, deciding today between Michigan and others, and 5-star WR Calvin Russell, choosing tonight between the Wolverines, Syracuse, Oregon, and FSU. The Wolverines' fate hangs in the balance. And this is the part most people miss: Jennings' flip isn't just about wins or losses, it's a reminder that recruitment is deeply personal. His father's Florida roots, a '99 FSU national champ, and Miami's local appeal might have tipped the scales. But should tragedy ever influence a teen's college choice? Ready for more drama? Subscribe to the Michigan Insider for real-time updates, or grab free text alerts for commitments, decommitments, and more. Now, sound off: do you think family ties should outweigh on-field fit in these decisions? Let's debate in the comments.